Marky and Andrew Ulster have a story that can only be described as heartbreaking. Their baby girl was gravely ill and doctors said that her days were numbered. But then the couple walked into their daughter's room to hear a doctor utter the most heartbreaking words imaginable. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell to be inspired by these heartwarming stories every day. Marky Osler is a mom from Lehi, Utah. She and her husband Andrew had already welcomed a boy named Urban into the world in 2017, and they were delighted to discover that Marky was pregnant again in 2018, and this time it was a girl. I was so excited when I found out I was pregnant. I'd always felt like I needed my kids really close together, Marky told People in March 2019. But unfortunately for the couple, the pregnancy didn't go quite as planned. Doctors found that there was something wrong with the couple's little girl, in fact. Marky and Andrew had already decided to name her Everly, but they were devastated to find out that she was sick before she was even born. The Oslers were told that Everly had 4 heart defects. They were so serious that they would claim her life. Marky understandably broke down upon hearing the news. "I got in my car and cried for a solid hour," she recalled. It was heartbreaking to be told that her daughter was not going to live a long and healthy life, but deep down Marky had thought that there was something wrong all along. "Call it mother's intuition," Marky said. However, she continued with the pregnancy and eventually gave birth to a little Everly early in November 2018. Everly was then taken away by doctors to be cared for, and she wasn't returned to her mom for a couple of hours. Marky subsequently described the moment when she first held her child as the closest I've ever felt to heaven, even though her little baby had all kinds of wires attached to her. "I probably kissed her a million times," Marky told People. But Marky and Andrew didn't have long with their baby girl before she had to have a major operation. Little Everly went for an open heart surgery when she was only 3 days old, in fact, but she survived. Then, however, she needed to undergo another serious procedure. Although it was difficult for the Oslers to watch her go through this ordeal, Everly survived the second round of heart surgery too. Marky said that there was nothing worse than having to watch her child being so unwell. But, thankfully, Everly was moved off the intensive care unit soon afterwards. While Everly was on the recovery wing, things were starting to look more positive for her. The Osler's son Urban was allowed to come and visit his poorly sister, and Marky finally began to feel as though she was now fulfilling the role of being Everly's mom. Everly's doting parents were delighted with her progress and told family and friends that their little girl was probably going to be able to come home soon. But sadly, those positive feelings didn't last. In fact, Everly's condition quickly deteriorated. The Oslers were not with their daughter at the moment when she took a turn for the worse. Instead, they received a call from the hospital informing them that they should come in quickly. Of course, Marky and Andrew dropped everything and hurried to be with Everly. But it was too late. Everly's heart had stopped suddenly, and doctors had done all that they could to save her without success. They'd tried to bring her back for 3/4 of an hour, in fact, even though she would likely have suffered brain damage if she eventually had been revived. Tragically, the parents had entered Everly's room right at the most poignant moment imaginable. Literally, the very second I stepped up to that doorway was when the surgeon threw his hands up in the air, took his face mask off, and said, "That's it, there's nothing we can do," Marky recalled. The medical team were all devastated for the Oslers and offered their support in the form of tearful hugs and comforting words. Marky and Andrew were then given the chance to spend some final moments with their baby girl, something that no parent should ever have to do. The staff put Everly in pajamas and her mom placed a pink bow in her hair. And then the heartbroken parents spent a while telling their daughter how loved she was. Finally, they tucked her into a hospital crib, took some photographs, said goodbye, and went home. The tears came out in full force once the couple got home. Marky rushed to give her son a cuddle and then let all the emotion come flooding out. The devastated mom said that she'd never cried so much in her entire life as she did that day lying on the floor. The next morning, the Oslers started planning their baby girl's funeral. And then, just a few days after Everly had died, the service was held. The following weeks and months were extremely difficult for the grieving parents, a period that Marky has subsequently detailed on lovewhatmatters.com. "Most days I feel like suffocating. Most days I feel like never getting out of bed. Most days I feel sorry for myself," she wrote. But she's not entirely devoid of hope following the loss of her daughter. Marky added that she's also grateful to God for giving her Everly, even if it was for a painfully short time. Now she's making it her mission to help other babies with congenital heart defects. Everly's friends that are still here on Earth deserve the research, she wrote poignantly. We need to find a cure for these babies, to give them a chance at life. We need to find a cure so that no other parent has to feel the pain that I do.